Top 25 Online Assessment Center Interview Questions and Answers. Online assessment centers can feel stressful because you are not just answering interview questions. You may be tested through video interviews, group discussions, case studies, role plays, written exercises, presentations, psychometric tests, and situational judgment tasks. Employers use these activities to see how you think, communicate, solve problems, manage time, and work with others in a realistic environment. The key is to stay calm, be structured, and show professional behavior throughout the process. In this guide, you will learn 25 common online assessment center interview questions with strong sample answers to help you prepare confidently. 1. Tell me about yourself. A good answer should be professional, focused, and connected to the role. You can say, I am a motivated and organized candidate with a strong interest in this position because it matches my skills in communication, problem solving, and teamwork. During my studies and previous experience, I developed the ability to manage tasks, work with different people, and stay calm under pressure. I enjoy learning quickly and applying feedback to improve. I am now looking for an opportunity where I can contribute positively, grow professionally, and prove myself in a challenging environment. 2. Why do you want to join this company? You can answer by showing research and genuine interest. Say, I want to join this company because it has a strong reputation for professionalism, innovation, and career development. I am impressed by the way the organization focuses on quality, customer service, and continuous improvement. I also like that the company provides opportunities for employees to learn and grow. This role is attractive to me because it allows me to use my skills while also developing new ones. I believe my values, work ethic, and long-term goals match the company's culture. 3. What do you know about an online assessment center? A strong answer shows that you understand the process. You can say, an online assessment center is a structured selection process where candidates complete different activities to show their skills and behavior. It may include interviews, group exercises, presentations, role plays, written tasks, case studies, and online tests. The purpose is not only to check knowledge but also to assess communication, teamwork, leadership potential, problem solving, and time management. I understand that employers observe how candidates behave in realistic work situations, so I would stay professional, prepared, and engaged throughout the process. 4. How would you prepare for an online assessment center? You can answer practically. I would prepare by researching the company, understanding the role, and reviewing the skills they are likely to assess. I would also practice common interview questions, group discussion techniques, presentations, and written exercises. Since it is online, I would test my internet connection, camera, microphone, and software before the session. I would choose a quiet place, dress professionally, and keep notes nearby. Most importantly, I would prepare examples from my experience that show teamwork, leadership, problem solving, communication, and adaptability. 5. How do you handle pressure during assessments? A strong answer should show calmness and control. You can say, when I am under pressure, I try to stay calm and focus on the task instead of the stress. I break the problem into smaller steps, prioritize what is most important, and manage my time carefully. I also remind myself to listen properly before responding. In an assessment center, I would stay professional even if the task is difficult. Pressure can actually help me focus better because it encourages me to think clearly, make decisions faster, and stay organized. 6. How do you contribute in a group discussion? A good answer shows balance, not domination. Say, in a group discussion, I contribute by listening carefully, sharing clear ideas, and encouraging others to speak. I believe the best group performance happens when everyone feels included. I would avoid interrupting people and try to build on useful points made by others. If the group moves off topic, I would politely bring the discussion back to the objective. I would also help summarize key points and support the team in reaching a practical conclusion within the time limit. 7. What would you do if someone dominates the group discussion? You can answer professionally. If someone dominates the discussion, I would not react negatively or argue with them. I would wait for a suitable moment and politely say something like, "That is a useful point." It would also be good to hear from others so we can consider different perspectives. This shows respect while helping the group stay balanced. I understand that assessors look at teamwork and communication, so I would focus on creating a positive discussion where everyone has a chance to contribute. 8. What would you do if the group cannot agree on a decision? A strong answer shows problem solving. Say, if the group cannot agree, I would suggest reviewing the main objective and comparing each option against the criteria. I would encourage the group to look at facts, benefits, risks, and time limits instead of personal opinions. If needed, I would suggest a quick vote or a compromise that includes the strongest points from different ideas. My goal would be to help the team move forward professionally, because in an assessment center, reaching a clear decision is often more important than proving one person right. 9. How do you manage your time during online tasks? You can say, I manage time by first understanding the task, checking the deadline, and dividing the available time into planning, working, reviewing, and final submission. I avoid spending too long on one small detail because that can affect the whole task. For written exercises or case studies, I create a quick structure before writing. For group tasks, I keep an eye on time and remind the team politely when needed. Good time management helps me stay organized and deliver a complete answer. 10. Describe a time you worked successfully in a team. Use a clear example. Say, in a previous group project, our team had to complete a task within a short deadline. At first, everyone had different ideas, so I suggested that we divide responsibilities based on each person's strengths. I took responsibility for organizing the work and keeping track of progress. We communicated regularly and helped each other when someone was stuck. As a result, we completed the project on time and received positive feedback. This experience taught me the importance of cooperation, planning, and clear communication. 11. Describe a time you showed leadership. A good answer shows initiative, not just authority. You can say, I showed leadership during a group task when the team was confused about how to begin. Instead of taking control aggressively, I suggested that we first clarify the objective, list the tasks, and assign responsibilities. I encouraged everyone to share ideas and made sure quieter members were included. I also monitored the deadline and helped the group stay focused. The task was completed successfully, and I learned that leadership is about guiding, supporting, and helping the team perform better. 12. How do you handle feedback? You can answer positively. I see feedback as an opportunity to improve. I try not to take it personally because feedback helps me understand what I can do better. When I receive feedback, I listen carefully, ask questions if something is unclear, and think about how I can apply it next time. For example, if someone tells me my communication needs to be more concise, I would practice giving clearer and shorter answers. In an assessment center, I would show that I am open-minded, coachable, and willing to improve. 13. What are your strengths? One of my key strengths is communication. I can explain ideas clearly and listen carefully to others. Another strength is problem solving, because I like breaking down difficult situations and finding practical solutions. I am also reliable and organized, which helps me complete tasks on time. In an online assessment center, these strengths would help me contribute effectively in interviews, group discussions, written tasks, and presentations. I believe my ability to stay calm and professional is also a strong advantage. 14. What is your weakness? Choose a real but manageable weakness. Say, one weakness I have been working on is that I sometimes spend too much time trying to make my work perfect. While attention to detail is important, I have learned that deadlines and priorities are also important. To improve, I now set time limits for tasks and focus on completing the most important parts first. This helps me maintain quality without losing efficiency. I am still improving, but I have become much better at balancing accuracy with time management. 15. How would you handle a difficult role-play exercise? In a role-play exercise, I would first listen carefully to the scenario and understand the problem. I would stay calm, respectful, and professional throughout the conversation. If the role-play involved a difficult customer or colleague, I would acknowledge their concern, ask questions to understand the issue, and offer a practical solution. I would avoid becoming defensive. My focus would be on communication, empathy, and problem solving, because role-play exercises usually test how well candidates handle realistic workplace situations. 16. How do you approach a case study task? You can say, for a case study task, I would start by reading the information carefully and identifying the main problem. Then I would separate important facts from less important details. After that, I would consider possible solutions, compare their advantages and disadvantages, and choose the most practical recommendation. I would also explain my reasoning clearly because assessors want to see how I think, not just the final answer. I would keep my response structured, logical, and focused on the business objective. 17. How would you deliver a presentation in an online assessment center? A good answer should mention structure and confidence. Say, I would begin with a clear introduction, explaining the purpose of my presentation. Then I would cover the main points in a logical order, using simple language and confident body language. Since it is online, I would make sure my camera, microphone, and slides work properly. I would speak clearly, maintain eye contact with the camera, and avoid reading everything word for word. At the end, I would summarize my key message and answer questions professionally. 18. What would you do if your technology fails during the assessment? You can answer calmly. If my technology fails, I would stay calm and try to fix the issue quickly. Before the assessment, I would already test my internet, microphone, camera, and platform to reduce the risk. If a problem still happens, I would inform the assessors as soon as possible through email, phone, or the backup contact method provided. I would explain the situation professionally and rejoin the session as quickly as I can. The important thing is to stay composed and show responsibility. 19. How do you make sure you communicate clearly online? A strong answer shows awareness of online communication. Say, to communicate clearly online, I speak at a steady pace, keep my answers structured, and avoid talking over others. I also check that my microphone and camera are working properly before the session. During group tasks, I listen carefully and use short, clear points so others can follow easily. I also use positive body language, such as looking at the camera and nodding to show engagement. Clear online communication requires both speaking well and listening actively. 20. How would you deal with a conflict during a group task? You can say, if conflict happens during a group task, I would stay calm and avoid taking sides too quickly. I would listen to both viewpoints and try to identify the real issue. Then I would bring the focus back to the task objective and suggest comparing ideas based on facts, not emotions. I believe respectful communication is important, especially when time is limited. My goal would be to reduce tension, keep the group productive, and help everyone move toward a practical solution. 21. How do you prioritize tasks when everything seems important? A good answer shows judgment. Say, when everything seems important, I prioritize by looking at deadlines, impact, urgency, and the main objective. I ask myself which task will create the biggest result and which one must be completed first. If I am working in a group, I would suggest dividing tasks so we can handle more than one priority at the same time. I also avoid wasting time on details that do not affect the final outcome. Prioritization helps me stay focused and efficient. 22. How would you handle a written exercise? You can answer practically. For a written exercise, I would first read the instructions carefully and identify what the assessor is asking for. Then I would create a simple structure before writing, such as introduction, key points, recommendation, and conclusion. I would keep my language clear, professional, and concise. I would also manage my time so I have a few minutes at the end to check grammar, spelling, and clarity. A written exercise is not only about content, it also shows organization and communication skills. 23. What would you do if you made a mistake during the assessment? A strong answer shows maturity. Say, if I made a mistake, I would not panic or try to hide it. I would correct it if possible and continue professionally. Everyone can make mistakes, especially under pressure, but what matters is how you respond. I would take responsibility, learn from it, and stay focused on the next task. In an assessment center, assessors often look at resilience and attitude, so I would show that I can recover quickly and remain positive.